What is good, Ninja? OG over here from Player Essence, and welcome to the video that I have here for you guys. So today we're going to be taking a look at some of the more obscure developers that work hand in hand with Nintendo and what they could be bringing to the Nintendo Switch. And we are first starting off with Monster Games. Now this developer did some cool stuff back in the day on the Wii. They did Excite Truck, which was a launch title, and then a couple years later they did Excite Bots Trick Racing, which was a really cool kind of like action racing game to where you pulled off tricks in order to get points. It wasn't just about winning or in terms of getting the first place. You actually had to do a bunch of tricks and do flips and all sorts of stuff. Both games ran silky smooth. Both games looked really good for being on the Wii. And on top of that, they had some great features, a lot of good content, and definitely the developers behind the games knew what they were doing. They had a grasp of the system in terms of the Wii and pulling the most out of it. Now, probably Monster Games' most technically impressive game was Xenoblade Chronicles 3D for the new Nintendo 3DS. Now, this game was pretty much the full Xenoblade Chronicles experience on the Wii, downsized to Nintendo 3DS. Now, the new Nintendo 3DS only, regular 3DSs can't play the game. It needed every ounce of juice in order to get this thing going. But this was impressive because the Nintendo 3DS and even the new Nintendo 3DS aren't as strong as the Wii. So for them to get all of that game shrunken down to that cartridge to where you can play that anywhere that you want was really impressive to me. And I feel that their technical expertise in terms of them doing that could really lend well to Nintendo Switch. But to be honest, we've pretty much had radio silence from them since Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. We don't know what they're up to. We don't know what they're working on. I'm pretty sure they've been working on some things here and there, but overall we haven't heard much from them. Now what I would like is Excite Bike. That game needs to make a comeback because Excite Bike was one of the best games on the NES. You had a track editor, you had tons of courses, and it was a lot of fun with some great music as well. Now Excite Bike 64 might have been the basis for Rocket League as well, because back then I remember playing soccer with motorbikes back then. But it is pretty cool kind of looking at Rocket League and then going back and looking at Excite Bike 64 in terms of what they did with the mini games in there. So if you took Excite Bike and you put it to where you had all new graphics, you had fantastic presentation, you had online gameplay where you can race against your friends, you can download levels, think of that style of game with Monster Games and their specialty when it comes to racing titles. Think of what they can do with the Nintendo Switch. And I'm really hoping that Monster Games is working on something like an Excite Bike for the Nintendo Switch, because I just think that it would be a great kind of different style of game that Nintendo usually doesn't do anymore. And Monster Games pretty much perfected the Wii racing genre in terms of action and tricks and big jumps and all of that. Seriously, those are some of the best racing games on the Wii. Is Excite Bike right there at launch, and then Excite Bots a couple years later. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Monster Games has for us. I'm hoping they got something up their sleeves for E3 or they release something later this year. So what do you guys think about Monster Games, the potential for them to bring something to the Nintendo Switch? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and now we're moving on to the next studio here, and this one's a little bit more of a household name, and that is Grezzo. So Grezzo, they developed The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time 3D, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D, and another one that a lot of you guys probably didn't play, and that was Ever Oasis. Now, all three games for the Nintendo 3DS, but the thing about Grezzo, what makes them really good is that how they were able to take the original base and kind of just formulate it, put it together, and make the art style work so well with the graphics of the Nintendo 3DS. They have a lot of talent at that studio, and the biggest news to where I think why we could get something from them going forward is because they were actually looking and recruiting for developers that have experience with Unity and Unreal Engine. So it looks like they are stepping up. They're going from the Nintendo 3DS to the Nintendo Switch, and we could see something this year from them because they were recruiting all the way last year. So I'm excited to see what Grezzo could do. Now, everyone's been saying, yo, we got Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD, we got Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess HD, what about the Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD? And that would be my #1 pick for Grezzo to do if they could. Now that would be a huge undertaking because you have the whole motion controls thing, right? You'd have to program this game to where you use regular button controls and you use motion controls, or if that was even an option. I mean, I would pretty sure they want to make it an option using it with the Joy-Cons, but there would have to be standard controls as well for portable play. You would just have to put that in there in terms of it. So it would be exciting just to see if they could pull that one off. Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword is not one of my favorite Legend of Zelda games, but if it did have normal button controls and they did redo it in HD, slick presentation, especially the quality that they've put into their other Legend of Zelda remakes, I would be completely down to purchase a Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD remakes. And I think Grezzo could be the developer to do it. Since they already have 2 Legend of Zelda remakes under their belt, they know their way around the franchise, and they know their way around tech since they are recruiting more to do so. And they're converting the tech in terms of N64 to the Nintendo 3DS. I'm pretty sure they've already had a seamless transition to the Nintendo Switch, probably easier development tools as well. So if there was another game that I would like for them to put on the Nintendo Switch, that would also be Ever Oasis. Whether it's a brand new game or it's a remake, either one. I will take a remake of Ever Oasis, or I'll take a brand new Ever Oasis game, just because not enough people saw this game, not enough people played this game, but it's really, really good. The storyline's fantastic. I love the different types of people that you can talk to, the interaction, the character design. Everything is solid in this game. It just came out a little late on the Nintendo 3DS and was a new IP. I think that if you're doing new IPs, it's got to be on the hottest and newest system. It can't be on the old system. Only established IPs, at least in that time frame that it was releasing, had a chance to do well on the 3DS. This game would have been much better as a Switch title, but I think that there's still some time to kind of salvage this franchise going forward. So I would love to see an Ever Oasis remake or an Ever Oasis brand new game on the system. So one of those two, or heck, even both. Give me Ever Oasis and also give me Skyward Sword HD from Grezzo. So what do you guys think about this when it comes to Grezzo? What would you like to see from them? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving into the last developer here, we're going to be discussing probably more of the household name here. Pretty much everyone knows about these guys, and that is Next Level Games. They did stuff like Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon. They did Punch-Out. They've done some great stuff and maybe some not so great stuff. They also did Metroid Prime Federation Force, but I'm not sure if I'm going to put that on them. Now, their art direction isn't always the best, and I think that's one of the reasons why Metroid Prime Federation Force kind of looked the way that it did. Also, on top of that, Tanabe and what he was doing there. But at the same time, they've done some great things. Punch-Out was a fantastic remake slash new game in terms of on the Wii. I love the controls. I love the gameplay. There was some cool stuff in Punch-Out from Next Level Games, but probably their crowning piece to kind of going up there and moving up the ranks is Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. That game, from a technical standpoint, is solid. It is so good. Still to this day, it looks really good, but not only did they get that game looking and running as good as it was on the Nintendo 3DS, but they also had a full suite of online multiplayer in that game that wasn't half bad at all. You can still play it. I think to this day, the online multiplayer is still running, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun to go through the different towers and play with your friends. I've played it before, and I had a lot of fun while I was playing it. So I think that Next Level Games could be working on a couple different things here. So my number one pick would be Luigi's Mansion 3. I think there's going to be a brand new Luigi's Mansion from Next Level Games just because they have that down, right? Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, that was such a good seller for Nintendo 3DS. It would be silly if Nintendo didn't bring a brand new Luigi's Mansion game to the Nintendo Switch. Now, a lot of people were kind of burnt with the whole Luigi's Mansion on the Nintendo 3DS, but I don't think that's done by them. I don't think that they're really putting their time and effort into that. And if they are, it's probably already done and wrapped up. I think they really just kind of want to put it out there in terms of some content for the Nintendo 3DS, but the real main attraction is to really build up interest in terms of Luigi's Mansion and get that game on the Nintendo Switch. So I do feel that we are going to see something at E3, or we're going to see something at a Nintendo Direct when it comes to Next Level Games and Luigi's Mansion. I'm really looking forward to seeing that being announced. Now, there's another game that I think they could be doing too, maybe before Luigi's Mansion, and that is a brand new Mario Strikers game. Mario is back this year when it comes to Mario Tennis Aces. That is looking amazing. Imagine if they did a little 1-2 punch in terms of Mario sports games and they brought back Mario Strikers from Next Level Games. I think that would be really good as well. I played both of the games. I think there's one on the GameCube and Wii, whatever. I know I played multiple different ones and they were all good in terms of the gameplay, and I would like to see them bring that back over to Nintendo Switch. I think that can be phenomenal in terms of a portable experience, home console experience, and Next Level is probably the studio that can get it done right. Overall, those are my picks in terms of the most obscure studios and what I potentially think they can be bringing to the table when it comes to Nintendo Switch. Are there any games that I missed from these developers that you would be excited to be brought back? And what are your other obscure development studios that Nintendo Nintendo has closely worked with that you feel are going to be making titles for the Nintendo Switch going forward for a potential release in 2018. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We got Facebook and Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of Player Essence across the internet in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube Live gaming pages and consider supporting Player Essence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube sponsorship. So check out the link in the description below and consider supporting Player Essence right here on YouTube. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to Player Essence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you, Ninja, for the next video. Peace.